All right, so now finally, I have my little template. So I want, these are just name supers, which are great for if you're have somebody who you interviewed and you want to put their name up, you want to pop it up in a really cool way. So let's take this one. Okay, so do you remember we have these different tabs? Here's our tab for our actual project. Here's our tab for the nested sequence that we created, which we don't need anymore. We'll close that. And here's their tab with your template. Okay. So anytime you see these green little blocks on your timeline, these are nested sequences, right? So I like the way mm, this one looks. So I'm going to take this nested sequence, I'm holding it, I'm going to pull it over, I'm going to put it on my timeline. Now, if I pop it on my timeline somewhere on top, of course, it's going to delete it. So I'll pop it over to the right. Okay. So here is my, I'm going to close this up too. Here is my nested sequence. Okay, so I'm done with this. I found the one I wanted. I'm going to close this so as to not confuse myself. Okay, so I pulled what I wanted from the template. I'm going to close. This is a very simple template. This is a good example. All right, so now I want to put this name super over an area of my video. So I don't need, there's no audio on here, right? So if I right click, unlink, I can just delete this, okay? Otherwise, it's going to be linked, okay? All right, so let's bring in the name super at the very end. Looks great. All right, but I want to say, instead of saying that, like, I don't want it to say Charles Donnelly, of course. So this, like I said, anything that is green is nested. Let's double click it. I like to look at all of I double clicked it, it opened it up in a different tab. I like to look at all of my things on my timeline at once. And sometimes it helps to turn things on and off to see what you're working with, so you can see where things are in the template. All right, so it looks like this may be the words because I clicked on it, turned it on and off. So I double clicked it because it's a nest within a nest. So I double click it and then this nest comes up. This is where I'm able to change this font. So how did they do it? Oh, they went into legacy font. Okay. This is set up where if you double click on it, there's something called legacy font, and that is something you were able to create. They don't really use it in Premiere anymore. You can create right here, but we'll double click it and it opens up a different window. And in this window, you can make a change. So you can either change it right in, depending on how they created it, right in the actual program window, or you can go into this window. So we'll do Ocean's Edge. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the center about because I'm not really sure what it's going to do for me. All right, so now if you go back to your original, Ocean's Edge is in there, okay? And it is already animated for you, which this can be really cool to do. You can find something where you don't have to create it yourself all the time. You can do that yourself. You can crop things and different things like that, and you can add motion to it. But why do it if somebody's already done it and you're trying to create quickly? You don't always have time. All right, so the other part is here, the bottom part. And can't really see it because it's dark, but we have to, let's say we want to say surf club. I know we can't see it, but that's what we want to put. We go back to our title and here it is, but it's not really in the position that you want. So you can move it. So I'm highlighted here. Again, all of my controls are here. And then we go back to our beginning and here we go. Simple stuff. Now that was a really simple template. Not all of them are that way, but it works. So now that it's nested, I can do whatever I want with this nested sequence. I can make it really big, which can be really cool. You can do whatever you like with it, okay? Now, say, for example, I don't want this yellow. I can go to my template, and it looks like sometimes you have to search to figure out what is what, to be honest, and that's just how it is with any template. But um, I'm not really sure what they did there, but I'm going to show you a different way to do it, which is something I wanted to show anyway. If you want to change the color of something, you can put in your effects panel tint. You can take tint, we can put it right here on top of it, and you see how it changed it? You can, when you put tint, you have options to change anything to anything. So you want to map white to, you can double click it, and you can change it to red. You can map black to red as well. You can just do a lot of different changes there if you really want to change something, because it's sometimes you can't figure out where, but tint is a great, great tool as well, because sometimes you just want to change this one color. All right, so now that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to show you guys how to export a file, okay? So say I finish this file, it's all done. Now I want to just make sure, like sometimes I'll do a file and I have extra elements over here that I just was playing around with, but I don't want those in my final video. So up and down arrow, I'm pressing the up and down arrow. It will take you to the ends of just different areas of your video. If you notice, it's at the end of this, and I'm pressing down, it comes to the end of this clip, yada, yada, yada. So I want to make sure it's the end of all the clips. Now, it's an automatic endpoint because that's the NIN point, because that is the beginning of your pieces on your timeline. So we press out. O for out. So now when I render this, it's only going to render this. Render, save, make it into a video. Render means just make it into an MP4 file. It's going to save this. So I press O, and then I do Control M or Command M, and I can show you what that is. That's File and Export Media. Control M is a shortcut. I never do it that way. Everybody does Control M and Command M. It brings up your export window. Now here there's lots of different ways to save. If you want something very specific to a project, you can YouTube different ways to save different things. You can save things as transparencies or whatever, but I'm going to show you a basic way which most people will save any kind of project. It's H.264. There are drop downs here. Again, you can do research about all these different things. I know one I've used before is transparent. Like if I just want an element, I've already edited an element, graphic element, and I want it transparent. I want to put it on top of something else. There is a way to do that. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll make it really simple. All right, so H.264. I always drop down here for preset, and I go to high quality 1080 because we did a 1080, a 1920 by 1080, high quality 1080. Output name, right now they're picking up one of our videos. We don't want that. We want a final file. So we click on that. We are in our OEPP training folder. So let's call it just that, OE. Actually, oh yeah, I'll have to call it that, PP training video. Okay. MP4, that's a standard video. Anybody can open it. So you want to say save. It doesn't save it yet. You want to go and check all of these different things. These I keep the same. Everything is already set up for you. But if there's anything special what you want to do, again, YouTube. All right. And then you can export it here. If you have multiple files, say you're exporting like these training videos that I made, and I'll show you. If I want to do multiple in and out files and I have like 5 different files on the same timeline, I can do Q. Q will open up Media Encoder, and then you can, actually I'll do it. Q opens up a different program, Adobe program, make sure you have it installed, and it's called Media Encoder. What Media Encoder does is allows you to render multiple files at the same time. So um, I am rendering in Media Encoder, and once I press play, I don't have multiple files to do, of course, but once I press play, it will go ahead and start rendering this file. It's going to be really quick. Obviously, it's very short. It's already done. But that way I can go here. If it's a longer render, some renders are up to 25 minutes. I can come back to Premiere File and render another file, and you can have them multiply, so you can multitask. All right, so but if we're just doing it out of Premiere, you do Control M or Command M on a Mac. Oh, make sure you have your, like, if I'm here and I am highlighting the blue line here around my program and I do Control M, nothing's going to happen. Oh, it did happen. Well, excuse me. If it's in a different area, it has to be here or it has to be here. Makes sense. Anyway, Control M or Command M. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to resave over this. Yes. And I'm just going to export because I only have one video to do, and I'll export it. Hopefully they'll let me. Okay. All right. Done. So then we go to our folder and Control C, clients, Costa Rica. So you go to that, and here is our video. So it's an MP4 video, and we can open it up and we can see what we did. Right? So you get it, right? So again, all of these things were simple. All of these things were just examples, but it just is a great program. I can't say enough about it. Sorry I got flubbed up on that template thing, but do you guys have any questions?